Did you say art school is a waste of time? Who was the one who said this?
I think it was me.
Josh, why is art school a waste of time? Please elaborate.
I went to media, I went to a college in West London, right, for media studies, which is basically what all the failures do. They go on to media studies. So I did that because I didn't get many GCSEs and stuff, and I had to retake my maths. So it meant that like every Friday I had to come in and just spend an hour just learning maths that I'd already learned. That like just goes in one ear and out the fucking other. So there's no point of it, right? And so all you do is you sit there, right? And they give you not even like a proper camera. They give you like some like, okay, it is a proper camera. It's like a broadcast camera from like 30 years ago. They don't tell you how to actually use it. They don't ignite any kind of passion towards cinema or cameras or anything like that. They sit there and they go, all right, everybody, this the first film, it was released in 1895, and it was made by the Lumiere brothers, and then that went on to make this Russian fucking sorted out video, and it's just, I don't give a shit about where the art of cinema came from. It's here now. Can we just focus on the present, please? Right? But they're not interested in that. They want to live a century in the past, right? And then they just get you making stuff that has no real use to it. They don't teach you about like gaining clientele and like networking and stuff like that. They don't teach you how the f-stop works. They don't teach you what ISO is and like how these sort of things come together. They don't tell you about like, the advantages of different editing softwares and that kind of thing, and what like editing software you could possibly use. They don't tell you about like, if you're going to work for some kind of content engagement kind of firm, like how to actually kind of work all those things out. This is what the real media is. It's all this bullshit that you see on like, YouTube shorts or Facebook adverts. I got stopped in the street by some vape men, right, who had a camera, and they just sat there with the camera and they were like, "Oh, can you do a little reaction thing where we're gonna give you a free vape, and then you vape it and then just say like, this is a great vape." Right? And they were like, "Do you vape?" And I said, "No, I smoke." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well just give them a vape." And they gave me this empty vape and had me carry it, right? And then they come up and stop me, right? As if it's all natural. Like, and you see these things, they're such fake reactions. It's literally like, and then they do this little thing where they get the phone out and they go, "Oh, did you know that like this is really bad for you and there's all this black tar and carcinogens?" It's like, yes, I fucking know it's vaping, it's not healthy. But you have to sit there and go, "Oh, wow," right? They don't teach you about any of this stuff in school. This is what like a lot of content is. I got stopped in the street again by a company that was making an internal video for various supermarkets in the UK about eggs and how if they can make all their egg farms organic, that they could actually save money in the long run, right? And they do little street interviews. Right? That's what the media is. It's not making short films to then go and make your feature film to send off to the fucking film festivals, right? Like we're all fucking artiste auteurs, right? It's not about that. What it's all about is, and I don't like to say this, it's driving content engagement. That's what it's really about. But you can turn that into an artistic thing. So that's what they should be teaching you. I didn't learn any of that. All that happened is I ended up meeting my ex-wife there, and great. Useless.
So something that you always say in your videos is learning by doing, right? And the thing about art school is a lot of people go into it thinking that they're going to do a project, go through like, the whole year, the full 4 years, and then suddenly they become an amazing artist. And that's usually not the case, and there are only a few people who actually do it right. You guys familiar with Shepard Fairey? You guys know Shepard Fairey?
Yes.
Obama poster, Obama Hope poster, the Hope guy? Obey.
Oh.
So we're
okay. Yeah, I know.
We're alumni of the same school, and we both had the same professors. And one of the professors that he had gave an assignment where you open a fortune cookie, and whatever the fortune cookie says, you have to interpret it to make an artistic assignment. Now, I forget exactly what it said, but he went crazy this one night and took a picture of Andre the Giant, I believe, and then made this whole like graphic design and plastered it on top of a politician's like advertisement in the middle of Providence, and it made like a whole news story. But he ended up liking the design so much that he made a bunch of stickers and posted around Providence and Boston, and I think it said like Andre the Giant has a posse. And that little logo ended up becoming the thing that he still uses to this day, the Obey the Giant thing. And he learned by himself. I mean, obviously, he got an assignment from his professor, but it wasn't his professor who made him good. He just interpreted in a way that allowed him to learn by himself and I guess get the most out of the experience. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get anything from art school. And honestly, I wish I had known that myself when I was there. Because, I don't know, man, like, there's just, like, too much of an elitism, especially in the bigger art schools of, like, yeah, I go to RISD. Yeah, I go to Cal Arts. That automatically means I'm just an artist. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like, make some real art first. I don't know.
I noticed all the exact same things in music school because I went to recording school first, and that was much more useful because I could build up a portfolio and things. And I dropped out of college the first time for business, and I was like, well, I'll go back for music. And I remember being in a music class, and you have write a 16-bar assignment of this or that, and it's supposed to sound like the Baroque style air or something like that. And, just being the musician I am, I was kind of breaking some of the rules because I thought the chord progression sounded a lot better. And then I get the assignment back and it's like a high C, like a 78 or something. And at this point, I was already in a band playing a bunch of shows, like, with, SoundCloud and Spotify and racking up numbers and stuff. And then the elitist people in my same class were like, oh, like, that's not Baroque style at all. And I remember thinking, like, who gives a shit about if you can write like a 16-bar loop? No one's going to listen to that. Have you ever made anything that anyone wants to hear? And so I'm kind of looking around at these people in my class that are just very uppity and very rude. And I realized I made a mistake coming back to college for this. I felt like I learned everything I needed to know. And I already knew music theory and everything. So why have someone teach you how to write music if you've already been doing it at that point? For me, like a decade. I started when I was 12 or something. So I just figured there's no point in paying money for this. And then the people in my classes I didn't really like the teachers. They were all dorks, and I don't think any of them had ever made anything of value. They're just really good at piano or something. And so it was the same thing. Like, I don't think that they can really teach you much on how to be an artist. If they were successful at being an artist, they wouldn't be there necessarily. I mean, some teachers can, but these guys definitely weren't. And so I felt the same way, that there was really no point in paying all this money to do this.
And there's some like teachers that are like music teachers, right? There's one actually who wasn't my school, but a friend of mine. His son went to this music school, right? And he was releasing he was doing rap stuff, and he was releasing raps on the side whilst being at this music school, right? And the teacher actually got so, I don't know, jealous or something like that he actually started like commenting on every single one of like this guy's like SoundCloud posts or whatever, just like, you're a talentless hack, do you even know what real music is, this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, you're actively tearing down your own student, like, and I just found that like kind of despicable. And I thought there's probably a lot more of that going on. He's just the most overt about it. Like, when I was in school, like for media and stuff, there were teachers that were just straight up just like, I don't even need to bother teaching you because I'm leaving at the end of the year. And I was just like, well, why the fuck am I here? Well, the government gave me a grant, so I guess I'm getting this for free technically, but fucking hell. What a waste of someone else's money this was.
I think there's a lot of elitism in all of the artistic fields, in tearing each other down and not propping each other up properly, especially if they're trying to do the exact same thing as you and you're better at it. I think that's, going to lead most likely to the most kind of vindictive behavior. But there's definitely a fair amount of that, I think.
I think the problem is that we all have group projects, and like a group project can only really have one leader. So what happens is that the leaders, right, are the ones that do all the stuff, and then there's like all the other people that just like have to follow along with the leader's vision, right? What should really be happening is that everyone gets to have a chance at having their own vision and making their own thing from start to finish in various fields, so that they understand what's going on, alongside one, how to lead a team, and two, how to actually be a part of a team. You need both in order to be able to develop and figure out where you're going to be. Like, because I'm more of a personality, right, I ended up leading a lot of my media school projects, right, because I've got the loudest voice and I do the silliest voices and I come up with the dumbest ideas, right? Whereas other people don't have quite that same thing, and I'm more like when we were in school, it was all like we're against each other, right? So I remember there was this one project where we basically had two groups that were like cooing one another. So I was originally on team A, which was with my friend. They were both my friends actually, but they sort of had a bit of a rivalry. And so I was on this guy's team, and then the other guy sort of splintered off and went to make his own thing, right? And I ended up joining that because his vision looked a little bit better. But we were constantly chucking shit back and forth at one another and trying to tear each other down and be like, oh, your edit's fucking garbage. Oh, you're copying me. Oh, you're doing this. I had that idea first, and this kind of thing. And it's like, this isn't inducive to like a good, healthy environment that you actually see in the real world. Like in the real world, it's a lot more like this, where we're all like raising each other up and like taking inspiration from one another. Not me going, oh, Tantris humble, you're a load of shit. You're terrible at this. I'm the best. It's like we don't do that in real life, right? And the people that do that, you try and avoid them. So yeah, the elitism is certainly there. I would agree, but I think it's also encouraged by the system of education in of itself and the way that the projects are aligned. And it doesn't need to be like that.